Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Team Liquid Legacy Star League 3. Hopefully you can all hear me. I think we had some reports of audio issues earlier. Also, I just realized I hope I didn't cut off the intro video because I totally couldn't hear it. Right. So, if you couldn't tell, I'm a little bit flustered. I hope you all bear with me as I'm in an entirely new streaming setup, new computer, new streaming program. I'm using OBS now, and of course, new season of TLS. But not everything is new. Of course, I have the good old Elegant back from wherever he's been to join me on the cast. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back. I've been out and about doing many exciting things, which means I'm totally behind on my Brood War activities. So you're going to have to pull me through this a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to the season. It's going to be so cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing the standard of play. I've been away for a long, long time. I'm really curious to see where we've got to. All my old favorites coming out again.
Well, I hope you're ready for a lot of Zerg dominance again, because I think that's what's going to happen today and for the rest of the season unless something crazy happens. Although I did see Bibian and Busy both sign up for today's qualifier, although sadly I don't think they actually checked in. But if we get those two Terrans in, we could have some interesting things abound.
You can't do that to me. You say busy and I get excited. I feel my heart rate going, but... I mean, don't tease me, okay? It's just it's a little bit cruel.
One of them is already qualified, I think, because they placed high last season. The problem is I can't remember which, because I always get those two confused. I mean, you know, they're both high-level Terrans. They're both Canadian. Their names both start with B. I just can never tell apart Busy and Bibian.
Yeah, it's tough. Although the difference is, I don't know why, but Busy just sort of sticks in my mind. Bibian, I know he's a great player, but he doesn't stick in my mind quite so strongly. But I really hope they turn up because we need Terran representation because, yeah, Zerg-dominated tournament might lose some of its edge. But having said that, what could be more Zerg-dominated than a tournament with Zeke in it? So at the end of the day...
that is true, that is true.
Yeah.
So, fittingly... actually, before we go into our first game, let me just briefly explain what's going to happen today. So, of course, we are in the first of 4 qualifiers for the TLS Season 3. We will have 12 players qualifying from the 4 qualifiers to join 12 people who qualified or are seeded due to making it to the round of 16 last season. And then those 24 will play a group stage to become 12 players and obviously be joined by the top 4 from last season. And everything will go on from there. So we're going to see the top 1 player. Is it the winner now qualifying? Oh man, I can't even remember. Yeah, I think yes. It's the winner qualifying. So the winner of each qualifier will qualify, and then the next 8 will qualify on points based on how highly they placed in each of the tournaments.
Very good.
So getting second place doesn't guarantee you a qualification like it did in Season 1, but it does give you a ton of points, which definitely goes a long way towards qualifying. I think most, if not all, of the second place finishers last season did go on to actually qualify anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. So with that, we are ready for the first game, and it is quite fittingly going to be featuring a Zerg player. It's going to be a ZVP, and I'm not sure what round this is from, though. Tupacalypse, what round is this?
He might take a second. Tupacalypse can be a little bit slow. He means well, but... you know, a bit behind the times. Who is positive AFM?
I don't know.
Mysterious.
I have no idea who he is. But yes,
this is going to be deeply exciting. Very cool.
That's right. And he'll be facing, of course, KenZy, who is a pretty old school player. I think he qualified for one of the initial TSLs, right?
Yeah, he did. He really rings a bell. Isn't he Australian?
Is he? I thought he was
KenZy?
French.
Oh, you might be right. Sorry, I don't know who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of some kind of Australian Zerg. I thought KenZy was an Australian Zerg.
Well, I know he's got the color blue in his flag, but I suck at, geography, having been educated in the US.
Yeah.
So I assumed that was the French flag.
Oh. Well, either of us could be right. Or both of us could be wrong. He could be from Italy or something.
He is from some undisclosed location. Okay, Muka is confirming that he's French. Excellent. Fantastic. Good.
That British education.
Yes, great. Yes, and the map will be Destination, which is a very interesting map for PvZ. All kinds of crazy cheeses that can going on. I saw a lot of people actually complaining that Dusty was in the map. Well, I love Destination. I don't know what's up with that.
It's a classic map.
Yeah.
What's everybody moaning about? Destination. I've seen some great games on Destination. I don't know what the problem is.
I mean,
Yeah,
at one point, like, Destination was the map. It was like the fighting spirit of a couple of years ago, or
yeah,
whenever it came out.
it's still my fighting spirit.
Hmm.
I love this. I love this. Destination's awesome. I always think of Zerg's cheesy on Destination though. You know, you got those ugly little minerals that sit at the back of your base, just waiting to be mined out early by a drone, and then before you know it, you got linked in your base.
Even in the front, this is possibly one of the most obnoxious maps to wall. Because you can't like wall properly in front of your Nexus. Like the Nexus has to be sort of part of the wall, and then even if you do that, they can like run around the side. It's like, ugh.
It's brutal, isn't
Pain
it?
in the
It's
butt.
really, really tough. And then you get lurker drops and whatnot. It's got all kinds of fun shenanigans going on, but I think it's a really cool map. I don't know why it got so much heat because I did notice that in the thread, but I guess everyone's got a different opinion on maps. You can't please everybody, I don't think.
Yep, so I think that is probably enough intro for now. I'm ready to get into game number 1. How about you, Elegant?
I'm ready for game number 1.
Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first game of Season 3, the TLS. Alright, here we go into game number 1 at the top position as the Orange Zerg. We will have Positive AFM, who I've just been informed is a Polish player who is around C+ of B- IC Cup ladder rank level. It's pretty exciting.
All right. Yeah.
And his opponent at the 6 o'clock position as the Green Protoss. Now, I thought KenZy was Zerg, but apparently
Me too.
he's playing PvZ here. So I had a brief freak out there thinking I'd called the positions incorrectly. But no, KenZy is in fact going to be playing Protoss here.
Are you, sorry, I'm a bit fuzzy on the rules. You're allowed to race pick, aren't you? It's all right.
I believe so.
Until the later rounds,
Yes.
maybe.
I think even in the later rounds you can race pick, but you have to announce beforehand which race you'll be playing.
Yeah.
Or
That
something
makes
like that, so your opponent has time to prepare. You can't just like last second be like, oh no, I'm totally playing this other race. And
Yeah.
have your opponent have to make stuff up on the fly, because that would be a little bit unkind.
That'd be a pretty poor show. But yeah, I completely thought KenZy was Zerg. So I guess he is a race pick. I guess he gets to go for PvZ, which I find a little bit strange, and I find a very gutsy option. Of course, we all know PvZ, very difficult matchup. Historically, a very tough one for Protoss. So it's always interesting to see someone who favors the difficult matchup over the more coin flippy kind of Zerg v Zerg.
Indeed. Well, on the other hand, you could say that maybe, you know, his Protoss is actually decent. Like, there's a few Zerg players who have good Protoss, like Siki and Technics, for example, have fantastic PvZ. And maybe he doesn't want to risk, you know, a build order loss in ZVZ. And so he's saying, you know what, I'm pretty sure I'm the better player. Even if I'm playing my off race, it's, you know, slightly less randomness, I suppose, in the results if he goes for PvZ.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I mean, not to say that ZVZ is actually random, because we all know it's not. You can go on a huge tear on ZVZ, and even players in the foreign scene have demonstrated that.
Yeah.
But at kind of slightly lower levels, it can really be susceptible to that kind of build order loss, and you really want to avoid taking that chance, especially in the early stages of a tournament like this, when you're against a player who might not necessarily be better than you. And I think that's probably what KenZy's thinking. Going to throw down 2 cannons at the beginning, because as we mentioned before, Destination can be a little bit of a tricky one to defend on, because of course the Zerglings can run all the way around the edge of the natural, go behind the minerals, do all kinds of fun in games. So it's probably best to just be safe and not take any chances. And of course, we do have speed coming in as well from Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly because he did scout the 9 pool. I think he saw the gas as well. But even if he didn't, against a 9 pool, especially on a 2-player map, you definitely want to go for 2 cannons before the Nexus. Especially also on Destination, as you said, there's a lot of area at the natural. It's very easy to run around and find different openings. So I don't think you can ever get away with 1 cannon in this situation. So he's going to go 2 cannons, get the Nexus, going to put a gateway right here on top of this right side cannon. Very beautiful wall here. He must have prepared. Especially considering he's a non-Protoss player, he's actually a Zerg player. This is a really beautiful wall, so I'm quite impressed by this.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's really good, because often you get some really fuzzy walls happening on Destination. You get some things where you're just looking at like, what are they doing? But that's nice. Gateway blocking with the Forge as usual, having to do a good analysis of the wall in. It's nice to see. I see somebody doing it right. And that cannon, of course, not going to be redundant later on. It's not just useful for Zerglings. That's right in the mineral line. That's going to be great for defense against mutas. It can be used kind of a little bit for against lurker drops. Not so much, but it is still still fairly handy for that as well. So it's a kind of multi-use cannon. It's going to be useful all the way through.
It's funny that you mentioned that because there's this little nook just under the bottom mineral patch there at the natural that sometimes Zergs will put a lurker there and float an overlord to give vision, and I'm pretty sure that cannon will actually range that spot. So you're exactly right. And wow, there's actually a third cannon here. He's actually scared that there's going to be a mine out of the back, but I don't know why he needs that if he can just put a pro up here. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, it's not just to cover the back, but it's also a semi-hidden cannon. So he's basically going to bait the Zerg into running in, because you see this Overlord still only sees 2 cannons. So from Positive's point of view, there's still only 2 cannons at the front, and if he goes for a run-in though, there's going to be a third cannon ready and waiting for those Zerglings, and we do see all the probes blocking now, so KenZy's completely prepared for this run-by, but here we go, the Zerglings are moving in, they're going to try and run around the side so the gateway isn't blocking as much. A Zealot is out though, and I cannot see this working at all.
No, that was not a good attempt from our friend Positive AFM, having to retreat straight away. KenZy's defended heavily against that. 3 cannons, a Zealot blocking with the probes.
Wow,
I think that
he made a cannon in the main, Elegant.
Are you kidding me? Oh, KenZy, I think that's kind of over-preparing.
Yeah.
Because when you've got 3 cannons at the front, there's a limit to how many links can really sneak through. I mean, it won't set him behind, but it'll just kind of dig into his advantage. I don't think he's really gained any particular advantage from this these early build orders because of he's made a lot of cannons and they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I think in the long run, like this third cannon is great, I think that's fine, but in the long run, this fourth cannon in the main is a losing play. Like, it's not efficient, and if you're defending so hard at the front, you really shouldn't need that. I mean, you can argue, well, you know, if the Zerg somehow gets 2 or 3 speedings in the main, he can micro them forever. But I just think that overall, that's not the greatest thing to do. I mean, you'll obviously never see pro gamers do that. You won't even see high-level, you know, foreigner Protosses ever do that. If you're getting a third cannon at the natural, you'll never get one in the main.
Yeah, I think that is indicative of an off-race player who's kind of getting a little bit panicky at the thought of extra pressure. But you never know, it may come in handy because we do have a lot of links still being produced. So it's not completely out of the question that that this Positive guy is going to create enough Zerglings to just dash through 3 cannons. So that one extra cannon may could come in handy as well. He's got his Stargate up and running now, so he's going to be ready to push out some Corsairs and start doing some fun stuff, but really this is an all-in from the Zerg player, so that Stargate never really going to come into play. I don't think it's going to end one way or the other quite soon if it carries on in this direction. We do have 3 Zealots, we have another cannon happening down, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 cannons in the natural, 1 cannon in the main. That's 5 cannons.
I don't know if he's just psychic or something, because this is actually correct given all these Zerglings, and here we go! Another huge run-in! The Zerglings are closing with the cannons, just 4 Zealots there though, and all the probes blocking. Unfortunately, they're not blocking the correct side, so the cannons are going to fall. The last cannon is going to go down, but there's not that many Zerglings remaining, and with 3 Zealots there, it should be okay. However, the probes are getting taken down there in full retreat, and if the Zerglings keep coming in, this is going to be a huge trouble. Actually, it looks like there were enough to take down the Zealots, so despite what we were saying, it actually wasn't enough.
This is not possible. How did this even happen? Inefficient blocking with the probes is really coming back to bite KenZy really horribly here. This did not need to happen. He had more than enough units out there, but he was not good at drilling with his probes. He wasn't quick enough off the line, and he's in such a typical position now. He's going to lose his natural 100%. He's not going to get his next Zealot out, so he's just going to have 1 Zealot. Did he manage to get it all the way back to the main? No, I don't even think he did. He lost the Zealot on his way back. He's having to make extra cannons, having to do all kinds of stuff, but this is a terrible, terrible situation for him, and we could see Positive AFM go for it right here. He's going to try and take down this cannon. The second cannon's coming in. Will it be there in time? The probes needs to do a better job of blocking that. He might just about be able to hold it. These 2 cannons are going to go down. The probes are doing the fighting, but I think it may not be enough. The Lings are all over them right now. There is 1 more photon cannon up, which is going to confuse the Ling AI a little bit, but I think it's going to be all over for KenZy. He's losing probes left, right, and center. Positive AFM doing huge damage right here with these just continuous Zergling onslaughts. But I think it might just be enough to hold for KenZy for now, but probably not for too long. Finding himself in a very, very tough position. The Lings keep on coming in, and they just keep on going for that last remaining photon cannon. They won't be able to get it quite yet, though, and he'll have to wait a little while more.
But dude, these Corsairs, I mean, there's no anti-air, right? So if you can just kill all of the Overlords, Positive can't make any more Zerglings. I actually don't know. Okay, there's 1 Overlord outside the natural. There must be one somewhere else, though. Because he's got 19 supply. Where's the other Overlord? There has to be a second Overlord somewhere. Can you find that, Elegant?
No.
Oh, it's in the middle of the map. It's going down towards the base. Wow. I see. But see, if he kills even one of those, there can be no more Zerglings produced, right? I mean, he still has more probes than there are drones by a long shot. There are still only 7 drones mining. There are no drones at either of the other bases. He's got 3 bases, but he only has 7 drones in the main minerals. So despite all of those probe losses, KenZy is still miles ahead in economy.
He just needs to live. He just needs to live as the links come back in. But I think he's going to be okay. He's got 2 photon cannons, 2 zealots, a whole bunch of probes. I think he's going to be all right, at least for foreseeable future. And I mean, if I were him, I'd go for zealot leg speed and build another gateway and just really consider doing some sort of big burst. It's a shame he didn't get that +1 ground weapon. That was never really going to come in time. But yeah, he's in as you say, he's in a actually surprisingly good position.
I actually missed it. Did he cancel the +1 or did it just die in the forge?
I didn't see it, unfortunately.
Okay, because
I don't think he canceled it.
Yeah, he left it there for a long time. I mean, it's very easy to forget something like that. But if you don't cancel upgrades, you do actually lose a quarter of their cost. They're not like units in buildings where if the building dies, you just get the resources refunded. With an upgrade, actually, you only get 3/4 of the price back. But hold that thought. Zergi's going in once again. I really don't see this working, though, for positive. There's just 3 cannons here and really tightly packed. No chance for those Zergis to do anything. Unfortunately for KenZy, he can't find those 2 overlords at the bottom, but he is patrolling the bases, making sure no new overlords are built. So essentially, positive is locked at 19 supply until he can make this spore colony and actually defend.
Yeah. I mean, he's popping out more drones, so this is definite indication that he's done with the link pressure right now, and I think that is right and good. There's really no further he can take it, but we're seeing a DT being produced from KenZy, and I don't know what Positive's going to have against that. And he may, in fact, find that is his Achilles heel. He's got a spore colony as natural, but no sunken colony, nothing in his main, no overlords anywhere. This DT has the potential to wreak some serious havoc.
Man, the thing
as
is,
if havoc ever wasn't serious.
He's gonna see the DT with the spore colony, and then he's gonna have absolutely nothing to. Oh! Nice block. Wow, I didn't realize he had the overlord down there. The problem is the Corsairs can now come and kill this, and it looks like they've actually already killed the one that was at the natural. So yeah, that DT is gonna be able to get out. However, that is gonna give Positive time to build a sunken colony actually to stop it.
Do you think Positive had that in mind when he positioned the overlord there?
I don't know, but if he did, that was really good foresight there. By the way, that DT actually just attacked the gateway once, which is pretty ballsy.
Yeah, them DTs.
By the way, I also just want to apologize to KenZy because we told him how bad that cannon in the main was in the beginning, and it actually turned out to save his life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly KenZy knew exactly what he was doing.
But I think 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a waste of cannon. But yeah, in this instance, maybe it was just KenZy's magnificent foresight. And sneaky last drone kill there, but it cost 3 links. Not quite sure, pro kill rather, not quite sure that was worth it. Because that is basically his entire fighting force. He's going to have to really sunken up. No way is he going to be able to hold on to his third right now. The third is toast. He may as well forget about that. He just needs to defend up and try and pump some drones because he is not doing any mining right now. He is poor as a church mouse, popping out a whole bunch of drones here from his main and from his natural. And he needs to keep those overlords well clustered over the spore colony, otherwise he's going to find himself in some serious trouble. Only 20 supply right now. He is at less than half of the Protoss supply, and KenZy will be starting to feel in a decent position.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, there's no real need to try and save his third base. He doesn't really have the first 2 saturated anyway. And the thing is, the Protoss is only at 1 base, so Zerg on 2 base, that's absolutely fine. Meanwhile, looks like nothing additional coming out. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought there's 1 Templar. Is there a second Templar? He obviously needs... Oh, okay, there's a second one in the other gateway. So you're going to start making some Archons, make use of that Templar tag. Can't keep making DTs, they're not actually the most efficient direct engagement units. But he is also going to get his natural. So it looks like, I mean, you know, with Positive droning up from here, and he's got his lair and everything, he's getting a Spire, I mean, this sort of looks like a semi-reasonable mid-game. I'd say the Protoss is definitely a little bit ahead. Yeah. But otherwise, this is almost as if, you know, it was a 1-base Protoss opening against the Zerg.
Yeah, I'd be a bit worried for Positive against this force that could come into his natural, though, because that is Speed Zealots, and they could be really, really dangerous. You've got 2 sunken colonies, a handful of links, and that's it. So I think Positive really has to hold on to those links for dear life, because they're going to be incredibly useful in blocking, because those DTs, they go through sunkens so quickly, like a knife through butter. So he's going to have to keep his eye on that.
Indeed he will. You're absolutely right. It's so easy to just, you know, run the Zealots in, have them tank all the shots. The Sunkens do reduce damage against them, and then the DTs just chop them down easy peasy. He is in fact getting a third Sunken colony, as if hearing our words. But we do
through time
have
and
an
space.
Archon coming forward as well as an additional Zealot, and it looks like KenZy is going for the break here. There aren't that many Zerglings to support the Sungans, but he might be, if he gets a good drone drill or something, a good block, he could be okay here. I'm not really sure. The Zealots don't have +1, so they're not that scary, but they're still pretty darn scary, and the Archon is doing massive damage. There's still so many units left, and the drones actually can't block. They're stuck on the other side of the Sunkens. Now they're coming in, but they're not quite blocking the last Sunken, and there's so many Zealots remaining. I don't think the Positive can hold us anymore, and
GG!
KenZy takes it down after looking in serious trouble, getting his natural busted.
Ouch.
Man, that was a nice recovery, though. I mean, he lost his entire natural. He was reduced to just that one last warping cannon in his main. I mean, he, at one point, had like a dozen Zerglings killing his probes and no finished cannons in his main base. Yeah. And yet he was still okay.
That was that was crazy, but that just shows you how an all-in, it's called an all-in for a reason.
Yeah.
It has to really work, you know, like go the full distance. Occasionally you'll be able to pull it back, but against a player who's possibly more experienced, more knowledgeable than you, it really is, as it says on the tin, you're all in. You got to win it. And I think that's why he was just so persistent with those lings, and he kept on throwing them in, because he knew that maybe he would have had a bit better of a chance if he'd have switched to drones earlier rather than kept on throwing in the Zerglings, but he really knew in his heart of hearts that he needed to make it work or he was going to be in some serious trouble.
I mean, he literally was seconds from actually making it work. You know, just a couple more Zerglings there on that attack, stopping the last cannon from finishing, and he would have had the game. And great job to KenZy, by the way, for keeping a calm head through all that. I mean, it's so easy for Protoss players. Like, we're Protoss players, we understand. You know, when you're in crisis mode like that, it's so easy to just freak out and do stupid stuff and not play well, not keep your corsairs moving around, hunting overlords and things. And KenZy seemed pretty on top of that. So, yeah. So he will advance to the round of 32 in this qualifier. And we will go on to another game after this quick break. See you guys in a bit.